Magandang umaga. Ako po si Cruz-Angeles. Ito po ang LUMINOUS. And I wanted to discuss really quickly something that has been showing up a lot dito as comments sa social media. Um, there has been, they have appeared in places like dito sa blog at saka dun sa mga comment sections ng Karambola. So let's begin. Um, Recently, one blogger, Maharlika, had um, she had a post, she had a live where she said some very, very controversial things. And, we really like Maharlika and we think that this is a field that she owns. Kumbaga, dun sa siwalat niya na things that she has found out or the things or information that some people have been sending her, okay naman. Pero, I'm noticing is that may pupunta sa wall namin tapos sasabihin, bakit hindi ninyo pinag-uusapan yung ganito? Tapos ganun din, pupunta din sa karambola. Ay, walang matapang sa inyo kasi si Maharlika lang ang sasalita about this thing or that thing or whatever. Okay, wow, di ba? Wow, girl, ano ba yan? Bakit biglang kailangan pala magkomento kami at kailangan magpatunay kami ng tapang. Never mind if we have other arenas where we have already proven ourselves and we constantly do that every day. Because we do commentary and that commentary hurts some people. But the priority here is to point out where government policies are failing or government policies have not been made or things like that. We are pointing out things that government can do or can take notice of. Pero yung sasabihin, hindi kayo matapang kasi hindi ninyo ginagawa ito. Girl, let me tell you something. I have handled cases that have put my life in danger so many times I've lost count. You cannot question whether I am brave or not because I have nothing to prove to you. Number one. Number two is, yun ba yung basis ninyo? Yun ba yung standard ninyo ng tapang, ng bravery? Na maglalabas kami ng something that's controversial, something that somebody has already talked about, and in fact owns that particular topic. Ibibigay namin sa kanya yan because, hello, girl, siya yung nakadiscover nun. That's her, and let her run with her own story. Let her run with it and come up with the developments and so on. We're very happy to be on the sidelines and watch her. Give her the clicks that she needs. Give her But why do you want us to comment on it? Bakit necessary sa ibang mga tao na kailangan kami magkomento? Are you saying that she's not enough? Because I certainly think that Maharlika is way more than enough. Right? Kailangan sumali kami. Bakit? Anong agenda ninyo na kailangan namin magkomento? Whether we want to or not. Ano din? Hindi na yun free speech, ah. Kailangan pala magsalita kami. To do what? To add fuel to the fire? Wala pang wala pang apoy. She certainly has brought out some good issues. And so we're waiting for the developments. Hinihintay nga natin yung congressional hearing. Bakit ayaw ninyong hintayin yun? Kailangan magkomento kami. And whether or not we think that there is sufficient evidence to warrant a comment, bakit pinipilit na kami magkomento? Why? You want us to develop a momentum for something that you're planning? Please, di kami kasali dyan. I like Maharlika, actually. Bati kami. And regardless of what she has said about me before, I actually believe in her ability to do what she does best. She's good at this. O bakit ko kukunin yung storya niyan? And what? Make it about me? Hindi ako katulad ng ibang mga tao dyan na everything is about them. I'm happy to watch the developments of this. And if it is necessary, I usually comment on an aspect of that. Bakit ko pinipilit kami? Ha? Anong gusto nila? Ayan, sabi ni Reg TV, gusto nila cloud chaser din ako. I have enough clout. I don't need it. And clout for what? To what purpose? To what end? Do they honestly think that my main source of income is blogging? Naintindihan ko pag sinabi nila na you have to do something pagka nandun sa show sa Karambola. Yan, sige, that I admit, that's my job. But our boss lets us do our jobs the way we want to do it, our way. Kasi hindi Karambola yan, kundi namin gagawin yung Karambola things. And Karambola doesn't involve itself pagka kaya na ni Maharlika yan. And then, you have something new to add, edi saka kami magkukomento. Besides, hindi pa na-establish yung proof or falsity of any of the claims there. She certainly is the most entertaining right now. And we're not going to, we cannot add to that. So bakit? Bakit? Anong agenda mo? Bakit kami ang sinasangkalan ninyo? O kami ang ginagawa ninyo ng instrumento ng ano? Diba? Ano bang gusto ninyo mangyari dito? Kailangan magkomento kami. At may hirit pa na hindi kayo brave kasi hindi kayo nagkukomento dun sa issue na yun. Dahil bakit kami magkukomento? Unang-una, on the subject of the matter that has been allegedly wiretapped, ano yung nasa anti-wiretapping law? Di ba pati pagkagamit, pati yung pag-transmit ng wiretapped information, di ba bawal? Ewan ko sa inyo, pero ako, I'm not going to do that. However, si Maharlika, she's not in the country and she knows how to judge her own risks. Okay siya. We'll judge our own risks our way. Ang dami-dami pwedeng pag-usapan. Pipilitin nyo kami pag-usapan the one thing that all that Maharlika owns. Oh, please. Sabi ni Zoltan, hindi po katapangan ang pinapakita ng Maharlika kundi galit, personal na galit. Well, I'll leave that really up to her. Hindi kasi pakay ng Luminous ever makipag-away sa ibang vloggers even if you don't agree with them. What we do is, minsan, pinabatikas namin yung sinabi. Oh, I'll cut out a comment, I'll screen cap a comment here, and then discuss it on a separate post. And if mapagkatuwaan yung tao na yun, sorry, but, yung away, nakikipag-away ako. Kanino? Kay Maharlika? For what? Hindi nga kami magkaaway. Gagawa kayo ng away o sasabihin niyo she's better than me or she's better than Carabola or she's better than all I'll tell you that is, yeah, sure, she is. So, tingin nyo, inggitero kami, inggitera? Please. May ebidensya naman si Maharlika sa mga sinasabi niya, kaya malakas ang loob niya. Dapat punahin natin ang mali sa gobyerno paglaban ng tama. Yes, Ma'am Marie, but why are you telling us kung anong pupunahin namin, kung anong sasabihin namin? Kailangan kami? Ginawa na niya, di ba? Bakit kami? Bakit pa kami? Pinipilit nyo kami? Ano dito? Ano yung sinasabi ninyong free speech? Pwede bang pilitin ng isang tao magsalita o magkomento dun sa kontrobersya? Para sa akin, there isn't yet anything to comment on. I'm happy it's happening if it is true. And iniintay ko nga yung congressional investigation. Asa na? Ba't ako magkukomento? And besides, sinasabi ko na nga sa inyo I like Maharlika. In fact, we're not enemies. So, bakit ako for what? And ano yung kinakantin niyo sa amin? Pinag-aaway niyo kami. Oh, please, nobody can make her do that, nor can anybody make me do that. So, anong punto ninyo? Kailangan talaga? Saan kayo makakita na may magsasabi sa inyo kung ano yung magiging content ng vlog ninyo? I answer questions, yes. I will answer, especially when those that have objective answers. Naku. So, hindi. I just wanted to, not giving credence to anything like that, but I am answering the question. O bakit kayo? Hindi niyo pinag-uusapan yan. Bakit ikaw? Bakit hindi ikaw mag-vlog? Girl, ha? Bakit panay ang patuyanin nyo na hindi niyo pinag-uusapan? Eh di gawin mo. Bakit kami? Variety is good, sabi ni Oseng. Yeah. Sabi ni Cyrene, si Atenipix nag-iisip yan bago ilabas ang topic ko. Isa. Uy guys, I'm not complaining. In fact, I keep saying, I don't even want to say that I have anything new to add to what she has brought out. Siya yung may knowledge niyan. So gusto ng ibang tao dyan, magsalita ako kahit kulang yung kaalaman ko tungkol din sa issue. Girl! Yeah. Sabi ni Cyrene, bakit nang nagbabay yung iba dyan? Kung makasuhan ng makasuhan, di sila na lang. Nasaan na yung manika mo, ma'am? I don't know what you're talking about. Sabi ni Dudoy, Artisa, fruit of the poison tree, hindi pwedeng gawing evidence sa court. We don't even know if there's going to be a case. Diba? We don't even know if a crime has been committed. Walang nagsasalita. You will say that a crime has been committed if wiretap yan. Paano mo malalaman na wiretap yan kung hindi nagre-reklamo yung tao na na-wiretap? Hinihintay natin yun. And I'm not saying na na you shouldn't watch Maharlika. On the contrary. Like I said, hindi kami nakikipag-away sa ibang vloggers. Yung iba nga dyan, iniinsulto na kami. Kaya, sasagutin namin yung issue. Pero hindi namin sinasang tao. Well, sometimes Attorney Abed will slip and say something about the blogger or the vlogger, and that's still okay. Kasi pag sila yung unang nag-attack, expect a defense. Ganun po talaga kahit sa batas. Hmm. Ano po kaya gawin na lang yung Maharlika yung pwestong commentator na lapid? Ano yun? Guys, huwag niyo naman din awayin. Kayo naman. Tingnan natin. Give her time to develop her story also. People who seem to be picking Maharlika against you really don't know you po. Ito yung mga tipo ng mga tao na walang sariling paninindigan na kailangan may validation na makukuha sila as a group. Meron pa yung ibang nagsasabi na huwag mong kaibiganin yung mga yan. Ay! Enjoy ako dyan. Huwag mong kaibiganin si Pebbles. Huwag mong kaibiganin si Maharlika. Huwag mong kaibiganin si Madam Ellie. Why? What's the danger? Kayo ba yung napapasama? Kayo ba yung nag-ano? Ano yung sinabi ni Presidente? Hindi ba unity? Anong klaseng unity yan? We have to reach out to the people who have contrary opinions. Malay mo, we learn something or they learn something. But certainly, we're all Filipinos here. Huwag niyo naman sabihin huwag kong pansinin. Pinansin ko na ano yan? Di ba sasabihin niyo something that I've already done, huwag mong gawin ito. Ginawa ko na, sir. Um, so, yun lang. I mean, really, you can't drag us into a controversy that we don't want to be in. But I certainly am going to be an audience member to that. I'm going to watch. Bakit? I might learn something. Even if it's for me to understand how to evaluate the the evidence, the hearsay or whatever, okay lang. Bakit ba? And remember sa pagre-report, whether it's bad media or blogging, it's all hearsay. But we're not submitting it kasi in court. We're submitting it to public opinion or for discussion and analysis. So hindi kailangan umikot dun yung diskusyon. Iba kasi ang agenda ng mga yan, sabi ni Lito. Besides, sa hindi nila naiintindihan ng mga nangyayari at humaharap sila ng pagpipiestahan para mag-away-away. Ayun nga, some people, yes, they're incendiary. In other words, they say something to elicit a reaction. And that's okay, style nila yan. Hindi naman nila kami dinadamay, bakit ba? Diba? Not everybody here likes Banat Bay. He's still a friend. And he's, in fact, a good friend. And hindi namin pinapakialaman yung opinion ng isa't isa. Tapos yung ibang tao dyan, outside of our friendship, papakialaman kami. Kami nga nagkakasundo. Diba? Yeah. You're going to never underestimate the maturity of some people. Yeah. Aloha. So, yes, okay. If you don't like the way she blogs or vlogs and you don't like her style, that's also okay. In fact, she says that in her vlogs. She says, follow kung gusto ninyo. Kung ayaw, okay lang. Kung agree, okay. Kung hindi disagree, okay lang. Ganun din naman dito. It's a free country. But what I don't understand is why anybody would presume to be able to tell me na you can't be friends with that. We should talk about this. We should not talk about that. If I wanted to have a parent, I still have one who's living. So, makikinig ako sa nanay ko. Sa Ma'am Cristita says, sa ngayon tayo mismo ang nagpapagulo ng ating paligid. Dapat maging malawak ang ating pag-unawa. Isipin mabuti ang mga issue bago mag-comment at wag one-sided. Blessed are the peacemakers. Sabi ni Christian, it's fun to listen to Attorney Trixie's comments and ideas. It enriches our understanding on relevant issues. Kudos to you, ma'am. Tawa si Ma'am Pinay. So, okay, but before we, so on a different note naman, did you catch si Vice Indai's State of Education Address. Grabe, ang galing niya. And I'm saying this without bias or anything like that. She built on what Sec Liling Briones had already brought to the table. She agreed that yung testing the students and seeing where they are, where we are in the state of education, how much our learners are learning, what are the problems, why they aren't learning, and so on. And grabe yung mga findings. We discussed this on Karambola. Grabe yung mga findings. It's, it needs immediate attention and repair. So yung mga basic things like no schoolhouses, which is why nagkakaroon ng free shifts sa schools. And you know what? Itong lack of schools, school buildings, they lead to the shortening of school hours. Dahil ko konti ang classroom, kailangan by shifts. At dahil by shifts, mas konti yung time. And mas mabigat yung trabaho ng ating mga guro. And so, we have to understand that's why, we do some of these things. We have to transmit or convey information, and we have to explain sometimes over and over, and it requires infinite patience because hindi po ito na ituturo in basic education, hindi siya na ituturo dun sa even up to the high school level, which I think kids should already be learning logical thinking, reading comprehension, math skills, even basic things like addition, subtraction, multiplication. These things are problematic for some students already. Basic pa lang ito, ha? And let's not even talk about algebra. And then you already have people questioning bakit kailangan ng math. Well, there's no question. We need math in everyday life. Like yung pagkwenta lang sa ating Ay, thank you, Sir Francis. Yung pagkwenta ko na rin ng sukli. May binibili tayo, may susuklian tayo. Kailangan alam natin magkano yung sukli, no? Pag sasakay ka ng jeep, hindi mo alam kung tama yung sinukli ng driver sa'yo. So, everyday life. But it's not just the basic math. It's also the higher math. Things like algebra and so on. They teach us how to think. Yun po yung discipline ng math. Go this way. Yung pagdisiplinado, yung pag-iisip natin, we don't stray into areas that, yung mga nagkukomento with very little information, that means a lack of discipline in thinking. Pagka you give credence to certain things that have no evidence or knowing what evidence actually proves something, that's taught by math. Ah, Hi kay Sir Rene, nagpadala din ng pangkape. Sabi ni Sir Joker, kapag ang tao ang hinahanap ay katotohanan, pinapakinggan niya ang paliwanag ng bawat panig. Gusto niya man ang sinasabi nito o hindi, para magkaroon tayo ng idea kung sino nagsasabi ng totoo. Well said, sir. Very well said. At ang sabi ni Christian Moralde, what should parents immediately do after the findings of VP Inday? Well, number one is that we know by now that the system needs to be fixed. And so we have to be patient for them to fix the system. In the meantime, parents should take charge of their kids. Diba? And what does that mean? It means if kaya, and I'm not saying that every parent can do this, ako kasi, when my kids were very young, I stayed home. And I did not go to law school until the youngest was already going to school. But I also know that not all parents can do that. Many families require two income, and the mother sometimes really has to go to work, or the father has to go to work. There's no one parent that stays at home. Maybe there's an extended family and so on. So we do what we have to do. But the one good thing that you can do for your kids, you know what that is? You have to read to them. Find the time. If you cannot be there to tutor them at home and so on, if your kids are very young, teach them that there is this time that you will spend with them and you will read with them. And you will, in doing so, They will feel that reading is safe, it is comfortable, it reminds them that they're being loved, and they will read because reading gives you so many advantages. Number one is napapractice yung decoding, that we call decoding. Like, when you spell out a word, when you write a word, each letter represents a sound, and the combined sounds represent a word. And that word can either represent a thing or an idea or something, but it is representative. So, what we don't notice is that when we look at all this, minsan in one glance, na-decode natin. I look at this and it's the word says coffee. And immediately I know that the word represents the thing called coffee. Okay? Now, kids who like to read will learn to decode very, very quickly. And this leads to a better and faster absorption of information. There is uh, there are huge, huge benefits to reading to your child. And you can read to them as young as when they're newborn so that they get used to the sound of your voice and will equate it with safety and security and, love. So read to your kids. Read as often as you can. And then when they're older, talk to them. I know I've made many mistakes as a parent. That's why I learned some of these things. So that's the immediate thing. Make time, talk to them without gadgets. No. So, simula ako sa ni Ma'am Cristita, tama, agree ako na well-educate the young people in terms of math. Just like this aged business pa din libangan ko, that's involved math, discipline, and principles. Yun, sabi ni Sir Francis, mahilig daw siya magbasa sa comics. My mom was also busy working, but she worked at home. She's a dentist, and the clinic was at home. She was also later on she went to school late in life and became an orthodontist. So she taught us to completely and constantly learn. Akala ko nga dati she went back to school when she was 40. She said, no, I was older. I was in my 50s when I went back to school. And then she learned to drive also in her late 40s. So, di ba, we show our kids that these things, we can do these things. There are no age limits, there are no time limits and all that. There's no time limit to learning, there's education and all that. And, given the state of education, dapat alam natin that we cannot rely on the school to teach everything our kids should know. We cannot rely completely on the school system alone. That's something, alam niyo, yung parati ka, di ba, yesterday ba yun, and we were talking about, people were constantly asking, bakit hindi ginagawa to ng gobyerno? Dapat gobyerno, dapat yung teacher, dapat, hindi eh. Ito na nga yung state of education. Sure, pwede natin sabihin, dapat ito, ginagawa ng teacher. Pero hindi pa nga kaya eh. And so what are we going to do? Papagayaan natin mga anak natin? Hindi pwede. There's too much at stake. Their future is at stake. So we have to prepare them for that. And how are we going to do that? We also have to take charge of their education habang inaayos yung sistema. Sabi ni Florentino, tanong ko lang po or opinion ninyo tungkol sa K-12, K-12. Okay, ano pong kailangan malaman? Ako kasi hindi ako sold dun sa system, but since it is there, then that's what we're going to have to live with until ma-evaluate siya and, ma-retool siya. Sabi ni Ma'am Hanilet, sana all may pang super chat. Wala naman ganyanan. Maraming salamat sa lahat. Si Don Rolando ay nagpadala din sa super chat. Thank you. Hi kay Ma'am Julie. Okay, for those of us na yung kids natin are grown, baka naman may time tayo sa mga pamangkin, sa mga apo, and even to when I was younger, I used to do charity work and teach children, no, to teach them to read. When my kids were very young, my mother-in-law had a nursery school, and she's quite a well-known nursery school teacher. And I wanted to be with my kids, so I would teach also in the nursery school. Although I wouldn't teach my own kids. Kasi yan eh. Tingin nila sa akin, nanay, hindi teacher. So I would and I loved it, especially yung mga kinder students ko kasi they come in, they don't know how to read. And when they graduate, marunong na sila magbasa, marunong na sila mag-math, marunong na sila ng ganun. Yung mga basic things like that. Sabi ni Sir Robert, as kids, my mother would ask the youngest child who's starting to learn how to read the Bible lesson during evening worship. So you're forced to learn to read faster of all your siblings, faster, and all your siblings would give you down their looks. Uh, Sabi ni LMX, education issues in the Philippines, too many children enter school unprepared to master literacy and numeracy skills, and government invests too little in early learning. Yes, well, we barely invest in education. Eh. Kulang na kulang talaga. But that's what you get when there are limited government resources to go around. It isn't so much malice on the part of government as it is just a failure to determine what goes first in every year. Ito, sabi ni Ma'am Sairi, natatawa ako dun sa mga nagsasabing anong ginagawa ng gobyerno, anong ginagawa ng mga guro sa schools. Ano yun, iaasa lahat, eh sila, ano naman share nila sa mga anak niyo. Um, Sabi ni Sir Tony, just a while ago, Pag-ibig Office here, Bacolod gave me good news regarding my Provident claim. I praise them for their efficient work at na-appreciate nila yung praise ko. Yes, as a matter of fact, we also have to show what government is doing, right? Ito sabi niyo, saying we have volunteer parents helping with reading, even just to listen to their progress or to help in art class. O nga eh, so maybe more of us might want to consider volunteering dun sa schools, baka ano, kasi, di ba, even if your kids are the best already in class, you want them to be in a class of other good students. So we help the other students catch up. Kasi your kids will also be learning from them. Na-expose sila dun sa ibang mga bata. So gusto mo, na-expose sila dun sa mga bata na matatalino din. Di ba? Okay. Ah, sabi ni Ma'am Hanilet, Niles, done na daw yung share. Uy, ako nga pala, paalala lang, huwag pong kakalimutan, like and share, at saka follow na dun sa ating Luminous or sa Pixie Cruz-Angeles. I-merge namin po yung dalawang pages na yon. And then we will also be, we're encouraging everybody na mag-subscribe po dito sa YouTube channel natin. Sabi ni Mama Mita, sobrang sipag ko daw. Alam niyo, isa lang kasi akong tao, but we want to maximize. Kung mga ganitong patay ko na oras, I'm waiting for my next meeting, which is at 12 o'clock. I would like to make use of the time para, so that we can get people to discuss policies, to discuss issues, and then discuss what we can do. Kasi kung maganda yung nagre-reklamo tayo. Maganda din yung nag-criticize tayo to inform the government kung saan yung pagkukulang. Pero we also have to go beyond that. Hindi lang po yung ganito. And in fact, many bloggers that I know, yes, Maharlika included, sina Titi and all that, uh, they also involve themselves in charitable work. Si Byron hindi yan kumikibo, pero meron din yan. Some of us kasi, hindi public yung pagtutulong. Yung iba, very public at very magaling. Katulad ni KLC, si Chrisette Chu, si Doc Ethel. She has her own volunteer charity works and all that. She helps government also. She doesn't, she keeps it a secret. So, hindi ko pwedeng pagsabi. Mark Lopez does the same thing. Mark, KLC and I, we've taken a special interest sa House of Hope, but I also have a special interest in education. So we're trying to put together projects that can help schools. Kasi, di ba, sinabi na ni Ma'am Inday ni Vice Inday, ito yung problema. So now we're going to have to explore where we can help in the private sector. Believe ako kay Vice Inday kasi she's doing something. Yun lang itong diagnosis of what is wrong. Malaking bagay yan. Malaking ano. And now we have to move and see what we're going to what we can do as a nation. Di ba that's the challenge? We choose our leaders, pero hindi naman din natin pwede sila pabayaan. Nilagay natin sila sa office, tapos di natin sila tutulungan. Ano yan? Diba? Help, help, help din tayo. O, maraming controversies. At marami rin tayong dapat pinag-uusapan about those controversies. Pero let's also not get sidetracked. Most of what we should be doing, it should be, is loving our country. And how do we do that? First, dapat kilalanin natin. Second, the actual volunteer work. How can we help other people become better citizens? Allowed po ba sa batas, sabi ni Janelle, na ang DepEd pwede mag-tie up sa isang lending company? Kasi base sa hearing ngayon, inallow daw as per tulfo ng DepEd pumasok ang lending company. Well, let's see if the court will determine that. In general kasi, meron GSIS which usually lends out at yun po ay the safest. Ngayon, I know that even before, merong mga lenders na may tie-up with DepEd para diretso yung pagsingil nila, wini-withhold dun sa sweldo. So, let's see if that is legal. Kasi I think the courts will not have to make a determination of that. It might be considered graft if you have given, if the contract is grossly disadvantageous to the government. Kung hindi, have we given them any special privileges without doing something out? So yun po ang titignan yan. Natanong ni Captain America, may balak ba daw ako mag-doctorate? It depends on how my thesis goes. Kasi pagka masyado akong nahirapan sa thesis, medyo I still have to get up the courage to do a doctorate. But who knows? We'll see. We'll see. Itong pagkuha ng master's kasi was to open up other parts of my brain that haven't been used in a while. Eh. So, ayan, mission accomplished. And now, we'll have to consider whether I want to take a third undergraduate course. Diba? Baka isa pang undergrad. Okay na ako magkaka-masters ako in like a year or so. And then I want to take another undergraduate course, like, something science-based, like chemistry. Dun sa mahirap dapat tayo. Kasi if it's too easy, what's the point? Maganda po ang librong ginagamit sa Pilipinas. Sabi ni Denmark, meron po akong mga batang grade 5 na ginagawan ko ng PowerPoint presentations para i-explain sa English at Tagalog yung mga math topics nila. Oh, that's another problem. Meron tayong mother tongue policy because the students really learn easier when taught in the language that they speak at home, especially sa early education. The problem is very little materials available. Walang mga books in that language. Walang mga other educational instructional materials in that language. So that's another area where we can probably help out the schools even in our own small way. The other is making sure our kids get adequate nutrition. So kung makaka-contribute tayo dun sa schools in the area, kahit wala tayong mga anak doon o kamag-anak na nag-aaral doon, malaking may tutulong kung tutulungan natin yung mga bata dun sa mga communities natin. Okay, so I have to go to my meeting in a little while. Sabi ni Alimon, pwede po ba ma-extradite yan para makasuhan? Hindi po kailangan kasuhan bago ma-extradite. They have to face charges. Pero ang tanong, may crime ba? And yung extradition, ginagamit natin for crimes of a serious nature. And I don't think libel falls under that. Assuming that it is libel. So, ang daming presumptions po dyan sa statement niyo. First, it has to be determined whether or not the person committed the crime. And remember, when it comes to free speech, it's always the burden of the prosecution to show that the utterance is criminal in nature. Otherwise, the freedom of speech is what will prevail. Sabi ni Eduardo, ang Pinas ay isang agriculture country, ngunit mula pa naman sa mga administrasyong nagdaan, walang long-term na ginawa para sa ikauunlad ng ating sakahan. kung meron man, isang band-aid solution lang. Naintindihan ko po yung hinanaing ninyo. And yes, you're right. You're right about that. Sabi ni Samuel, if I'm formulating an opinion, I see to it that it is as deeply informed as it could possibly be. That's why I listen to it. Uy, wag lang po sa akin ha. And remember, what's the rule even in biology? Variety is strength. So in an ecology, for instance, um, in a community or an ecology, the more diverse, the better. So kahit sa atin, the more diverse opinions we listen to, the better it is for us. We become better informed. So let's not shut out the people who we choose not to listen to. We should listen to as many people as possible, even if we don't like them. Sabi ni Nelly Gal, ang mga students po dyan sa Pinas, pag pinagpatuloy nila ang pag-aaral dito sa Canada, nagiging honor student dito kasi advanced pong turo dyan kaysa dito sa Canada. Yes, or maybe they respond very well to an improved system. Weaknesses in the quality of primary and secondary education can be seen in, for example, the prevalence of functional illiteracy among high school students and graduates. Yes, kasi it's already a habit pagdating doon, ano? Hi, Sir Don. The frequency with which students drop out of programs and perceived lack of math and science instructions. Sabi ni Ma'am Pinay, my father used to concoct stories when I was young. Uy, ganun din ang tatay ko. It was the long version of the dad joke sometimes. But, si Papa, dami, variety yan. May ghost stories, may mga ano, depende, seasonal siya. Gagawa siya ng kwento na gabi-gabi, kikwento niya during bedtime. Isa yan sa rason kung bakit nahilig ako sa books to read these stories. Yun nga eh. And you know what? Kids love stories. So, reading time, very important. Sabi ni Ma'am RG Chell, mayroon din po siguro big effect yung mga magagaling na teachers sa bayan natin. Totoo yan. Nasa ibang bansa na po sila. Well, yeah, I had the good fortune, for instance, of having teachers who understood that I like to read. Like I said kanina sa Karambola, laman ako ng library and I had very few friends when I was very, very young. But, yun na lang, humahabol na lang sa pagkakaibigan ngayon, ano. Ngayon, matanda na. Because, I was in the library. I preferred reading. Pagka-reading kasi the stories would make sense. Alam mo yan? And people aren't always logical or sensible. We're passionate, we're emotional, and so on. So, books are more predictable. Sabi ni Captain America, at kapag nag-decide ka mag-take ng BS Chemistry, I'll give you a Paris Chemical book. Wow, thank you. So, oh my. I have to erase certain, yan. May mga nagsispam pa dito, Diyos ko. Tatanggalin ko lang, delete comment, yan. When my kids are younger and I would prepare them for their exams, meron kaming flashcards, meron kaming mga mock exams, tapos meron din kami mga stars na gano'n. Grabe, alam niyo yung biggest motivator ng panganay noon? Sabi niya, if I do well this entire semester, pwede ba akong may PlayStation? Pinag-isipan ko talaga ng matagal. So, nag-haggle kami. O sige, but you have to do better, not just in one quarter or two quarters. It has to be the entire year and so on. Tapos, ang dami kong dagdag. You have to do these chores, you have to do that. Wala, ginawa niya lahat yun. Napilitan ng PlayStation. I never, ever, ever promise something tapos hindi mo pala ibibigay. Napilitan talaga ako, no? I guess ang kulang din is yung ini sa mga bata na pumunta sa mga libraries dito. Kasi sa Canada, laman kami ng libraries at marami ding online resources. Sana mapondohan ng city libraries. I agree with this one. That's a good, that's a good cause. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's keep agitating for more libraries and more books in school. Lalong-lalo na for early education. Okay, so andyan na yung meeting ko. Maraming salamat sa pagsubaybay sa amin with this live where lately ang ginagawa natin more often is to discuss solutions as well. We'll be doing still a lot of explaining and we'll be adding more shorts dun sa sa YouTube and some reels dito for the for yung mga bite-sized versions of the information that we are trying to disseminate here. So yes, we'll also start some shorts on encouraging reading, gadgetless reading muna sa early ages, and then encourage the cities to have libraries, safe places for reading and learning and so on. Sabi ni Ma'am RG, at siguro po ang mga bata gusto na nila mga city online social media po rather than po na mag-read ng mga books po. Sana din mag-guide din ng mga parents. Yes, yes, we'll also do that. So maraming salamat ulit. We will do live if there is something new na mangyari. And again, thank you sa lahat ng padala super chat, super sticker stars and all that. Thank you very, very much. We'll see you again. You have a good day.